Hello there, Barbara Ragsdale, independent maker with Close to My Heart. And this particular video is going to be the cutting instructions for the cardstock that you get in your Love Notes card making workshop kit. Now, if you watched the pattern paper video off to the side, I have all four of my little stacks, depending on card 1, 2, 3, or 4. And we're going to be cutting the cardstock that you need in order to use for your card. So the first page that we're going to be starting with, or piece of cardstock we're going to be starting with, is your Scarlet. So get your Scarlet out, and we're going to be cutting. The first part is we're going to be cutting on the dark side. There is a light side and a dark side. I don't know if you can, I don't want to bend the paper, but you can see the color difference between the two. I can see it really good that way. For the first, when we go to start cutting it, use your dark side first. And the first cut that we're going to be doing, I'm going to kind of work, oh, how do I want to do this? Cut it. We'll go ahead and cut it at 3 3 3/4. So let's go ahead, and our first cut will be at 3 3/4. We're going to do a couple of these. So I'm going to do one at a time so I don't confuse myself like I did in the last video. So take that piece and then turn it landscape and cut 2 pieces. Oh, my thing came out at 5 inches. So you're going to have a cut 5 inches and then another one at 5 inches. And these 2 pieces are going to be for card number 1. And then I'm going to hold off on this because I'm going to confuse myself like I did in the other video. So hold on to this piece down here, and let's cut another one. Get your cardstock back in there and cut another strip at 3 3/4. And then cut 2 more at 5. Turn it sideways and then cut it at 5. And then another one at 5. Hopefully I did that right. So you have 2 pieces. These 2 pieces also go with card number 1. Now these 2 pieces that are left, we're going to cut let's cut it at 3.5 first. So take these pieces, put it landscape in there, so long side going landscape, and let's cut it down to 3.5 inches. And then turn it portrait and cut 2 pieces at 3/4 inches. Okay. So 1, so I can grab onto that. 2, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this again on this other piece. Small pieces. I have a problem with small pieces. Now these 2 pieces that came off here are going to be for card number 1, and then the other piece from the first cut, go ahead and put that back in there and cut it at 3.5. And then turn it sideways and cut 2 more at 3.25. Get that straight. 1. Y'all haven't noticed, I have a little difficulty with my hands just because of my scleroderma. But I still do this. It's good hand therapy for me. So, and these 2 pieces that we just cut also are card number 1. And then all these little pieces that came off, those are scraps. So let's just throw those in our scraps. And then now that piece of Scarlet, flip it over, and now we're going to cut the light side. Okay, so let's cut it at 2.25 inches. So cut you a strip 2.25, and then turn it sideways. I don't know why this keeps popping out. And then turn it sideways, and we're going to cut 4 at 2.25. So 4, there's 2.25, 2.25, 2 1/4, and 2 1/4. These 4 squares that are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, these go to card number 3. So put that in your 3 stack, and your 2 pieces of Scarlet that you have left over, those are scraps. Okay, the next piece that we're going to be getting and using is our peach, and we're on the dark side first, so make sure your dark side is up first. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut 2 1/2. So let's cut one at 2 1/2. Cut a strip all the way down at 2 1/2, and then turn it sideways and cut 4 squares at 2 1/2. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 squares that we just cut, these are going to be for card number 3. So I'm going to put that in my 3 stack. This little piece right here, you can go ahead and put that in with your scraps. And this large piece, by the way, the pieces that we just cut, I didn't flip it, but we're going to be using the lighter side. So you want to make sure you're using the lighter side. The piece that's left, you are going to be using the dark side, and this portion of the cardstock paper, you need this to cut the envelope off of card number 4. And I hope I didn't misspeak. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I might have misspoke with the paper in the paper instructions, but the cuts are okay. I just think I said something wrong. This piece right here, this is the piece that you're going to be using to cut the envelope that you see in card number 4. And let me get you a picture of it so you can see. This envelope right here, that's why this large piece, we need to reserve that so that when you get your thin cuts, you can cut your envelope. So put this with stack number 4. I got a stack over here. And the last piece that we're going to be cutting is our white daisy. So just throw it in your trimmer, and we got a lot of cuts here. So I'm going to try to go slow enough so that you can stay with me. The first cut is going to be a 1/2 inch. We're going to start out small, you guys. So cut a 1/2 inch strip. Wow. And then we're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to cut it at 3 1/2. 3 1/2. We're going to cut 4 of these. So at 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and we got a little scrap going here. And then go ahead and cut another. You're going to have to cut another strip at 1/2 inch. So let's cut another strip at 1/2 inch, and we're going to, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and give you the instructions, but if you happen to have, and we all have scraps, if you happen to have a scrap piece of white daisy that's at least 1 1/2 by 3 1/2, then you can skip this particular cut that I'm about to do. So, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the instructions because we do need one more piece. So we're cutting another strip at 1/2 inch, and then turning it sideways and cutting it at 3 1/2. Okay, so these 4 little strips that we just cut, these are going to be for card number 1. Okay, and then this long strip that's left is going to be scrap. All right, so now we got past the smaller one. These are going to be some larger cuts. The next one is going to be at 3 inches. So get your cardstock back in and cut you a strip at 3 inches. Turn it sideways and cut at 3 inches. And we will be cutting 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, and then we have 4. So you have 4 3x3 cuts of white daisy. These go for card number 1, and you're going to be using these to stamp and die cut the bear. Okay, so this goes to card number 1. Get your cardstock back in your trimmer and cut a strip at 2 inches. Turn it sideways and then cut it at 3 inches. And we're going to be cutting 4 of these at 3 inches. So you've got 4 2x3 inch pieces, and you're going to be using this to stamp and die cut the bouquet from card number 2. So put this in stack number 2, and then let's get your cardstock back in your trimmer and cut a strip at 2.5 all the way down. Turn it sideways. Cut it again at 2.5, and we're going to be cutting 4 of these at 2.5. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these 4 2.5 by 2.5 square pieces are for card number 3, and you'll use these to stamp the heart on. So put this with stack number 3. This little piece that came off, that's scrap. And get your cardstock back in your trimmer. This is the final cut. We're almost there. Let's cut a strip at, let me see. I'm trying to not have too much waste. So let's turn this sideways and cut a strip at 6 inches. Okay, 6 inches. And now turn it back portrait and cut it at 1.5. And then turn it back landscape and cut at 1.5. We're going to cut 4 little squares at 1.5. Hopefully you're following me here. Okay, and then the last one should already be at 1.5, and I think it is. Yeah, it's fine. These 4 little squares are going to be for card number 4, and this is the one where you're going to, with the small heart, circle for card number 4. So put that with card number 4. These 2 pieces are scrap. So I was trying to reduce so you had 2 large scraps left over of the white daisy. So put those in your scrap pile, and that's it. That's all the cutting instructions for your cardstock for the Love Notes card making workshop kit. So hopefully that was helpful to you. And as always, if you have any feedback about the cutting instruction videos, please let me know. I'm always open to feedback, and hopefully I go slow enough and I'm easy to understand. So, but if you have any feedback that you'd like to give me, just leave it in the comments. And other than that, we'll see you in the next video.